welcome back to Two Chicks in a Horror Flick. I'm Tawny Ray.
And I'm Felicia Connor.
And today, our movie that we're going to review and talk about is Krampus.
Woo!
Rounding out our holiday/Christmas horror episodes. So very excited about that.
Yes.
But before we jump in, what are you drinking, Felicia?
Oh, I'm drinking water, and I have this new non-alcoholic beer, and it's called Santa Claus Thaler. Okay, it's a holiday brew.
Oh.
Santa Claus Thaler.
Holiday brew.
Holiday brew. Non-alcoholic. I woke up with a migraine today, so when I have a headache, it just really throws me off, and I like to just drink tons of water and stick with.
That makes sense. What does it taste like?
I don't know.
You haven't? Okay.
No. We bought like several at Total Wine. You can get like the singles because I don't want to commit to a whole thing because a lot of times non-alcoholic beer tastes a little weird.
Let's see. I assume it's kind of festive.
Oh, God.
Oh.
Oh, my God. Well, shit. I should have brought a different beer in here.
Uh-oh.
Oh, this is what's in it. It's okay. It's not good. Unless you like it.
It's not good.
It is a malt beverage, 50% cranberry cinnamon drink. Why did I not look that up? That is horrible. And I will be getting a real beer now. Just one. I have to text my husband because that will make me ill.
That does sound weird. Very weird.
Okay, what are you drinking while I get this other beer?
I'm really on this old-fashioned train now, like fully on the train. So I got some cherry bitters because I was like, I want something a little more,
I haven't
flavor.
tried cherry bitters.
It doesn't taste as much like cherry as I wanted it to. It smells really cherry-y, right? But then today at the store, I had to stop and grab something else, and I got some maraschino cherries. So I got a little cherry floating around in here. Oh, nice. Fancy. And then I put some cherry juice in there, so it's like a little extra cherry-y.
Nice. Yeah. I have to say, I love Tawny Ray and her whiskey in a wine glass. That's the name of a podcast or a book.
Oh, yeah.
Whiskey in a wine glass. I love it.
I even have this wine glass that I got from my friend Paige's baby shower, and it says, you can't really see it, but it says, I just wanted the glow. Like, all of the glasses had etched quotes from movies where, like, somebody was pregnant or whatever. I don't know what movie this is from, so I apologize. It might be Knocked Up. I don't know. But, yeah.
That's cute. I love it.
Super fun.
Yeah, we're a big whiskey house. My husband, you know that he is really into cigars.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, he's always been into whiskey, but now he doesn't even buy vodka anymore. He is like so many different types of whiskeys and fancy whiskeys, and yeah, so he got all these different mixers so that he can make drinks. Honey, this is 50% cranberry cinnamon drink. It is disgusting.
Non-alcoholic. Disgusting.
Yeah. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
It's non-alcoholic. It's disgusting.
Yeah,
Such a brat.
But that seems extra disgusting.
Yeah, like, yes. Okay, so this is what I'm drinking. It's a Lagunitas, which I love, but I've never had this. It's a willetized coffee stout aged in rye oak barrels.
Oh. Willetized. That is what it says.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
But yeah, he's like mixing, and he just bought absinthe.
Okay.
Because they make some whiskey drink with absinthe, but.
Yeah, I was looking up whiskey drinks and I saw something with absinthe and I was like, I'm not ready for that. Okay. Like, that's too much. I think I had absinthe once.
We're like, oh mom, can we try this? Okay. So they don't drink or anything like that. They're good girls. The reason they're like, oh, can I just dip my finger in and try this? Is because in the movie Moulin Rouge. Have you ever seen it?
No. Well, maybe I have, but I don't remember anything about it.
There was one scene where they're celebrating, and Toulouse-Lautrec, he says, let's take these shots of absinthe, and they all go crazy and they see the green fairy. Well, that's the bottle he has that green fairy. And
Okay.
Like, Mom, I'm like, guys, this is not a movie drink. This is, no.
Yeah,
Can we
and
just dip our finger in it? I'm like,
it's not like that also, right? Like, yeah. I think I had a shot of absinthe or something once, and I did think that it would be like a hallucinogen, but like don't you have to drink like a shit ton or like really fucking concentrated absinthe or something? Like it's like
I don't know. Oh, and they didn't
people.
want to hallucinate.
Oh,
they
okay.
actually no, they didn't want to hallucinate. They were excited because this is what they drank in Moulin Rouge, so they wanted to try it. And I even said, do you know why they see the green fairy? It's because absinthe is so strong. I don't even know if this is true, but absinthe is so strong that if you drink a lot of it, it makes you hallucinate. And they're like, oh, was that what was happening in that scene? And I'm like, yes, they were wasted and hallucinating. That's why they saw the green fairy.
Maybe we'd have to look this up because I don't remember exactly what the deal is, but there's like some sort of compound or something in the absinthe that makes it like potentially hallucinogenic, but like it's like not, I think it's like way overblown, right? Like you think of absinthe and you're like, oh, I'm gonna drink this and trip balls, but no, it's like not it's not like that. I don't think. I mean, again, I don't know. I had like one shot of it, but anyway.
And you didn't trip balls?
No, I did not trip balls. No.
I like that. All right, I'm gonna try this one, the Willitatized. Willitatized. It's good.
Okay, good. We recovered.
Yeah. I would only drink one of those, but it's good. It's
Okay.
It's dark and very coffee.
Is it, heavy or sweet?
Both.
Both, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That'll work, though. It's better than cinnamon.
Yeah, cinnamon cranberry drink.
Oh, my stomach is starting to hurt.
Oh, no.
I'm kidding.
In other Christmas movie news, can I just say, I just want to do a quick shout out. I have not seen the Muppets Christmas Carol for literally like 20 years. Like I have not seen it since I was a child. And I put it on last night just to be like, I was like, Jade, just let me like fast forward through it. I don't want to watch this whole movie. I just want to like see scenes. I just want to, skip through it and look at it and just have some nostalgia. We started that bitch and like 2 minutes in, I was like, this is fucking great actually. What the fuck? This movie is incredible. And we ended up watching the whole thing. It was so good.
The Muppets Christmas? You had that reaction with the Muppets Christmas?
I did. I was like,
awesome.
This is a fucking incredible movie. Like, no wonder I loved this. I was also scared of it as a little kid because the Christmas Carol in general is a very scary story. Mm-hmm. But also you've got like Muppet ghosts, right? And I mean, all of the ghosts are scary in their own way, but
there's nothing like a Muppet ghost.
There is nothing. I'm telling you. Have you seen this movie?
I don't know if I feel like I'm sure I have. I used to watch all of those movies, but I don't remember. I don't remember.
Okay. It's so good. It's like the Ghost of Christmas Past is like this little like baby angel looking thing, like cherub. And I don't think it's supposed to be scary, but it is fucking scary because it's like, it's got the uncanny valley situation. It's like really weird looking, but it shouldn't be scary really. But then the Ghost of Christmas Present is like this super jovial one. He's not scary, but the one in the future, which is always the scary one, right, is fucking gigantic. And I guess they shot it in a water tank so that the like quality of the movement is like different. Like it's like in water as opposed to being out in the air. And it's like this black hood, like, just descends into darkness. And it's got like huge hands. It's really scary. It's really like
we're talking about like Jim Henson Muppets.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It was good.
How happy you are. There was so much energy coming off of you right now.
I just was shocked because, you always go back and watch shit from your childhood and you're like, okay, it's fun to go back and rewatch. But I was like, holy shit, this is fucking good. Like, the puppets are amazing. It's scary. And it was also very self-aware. Like, one of the first things that happens is there's a cart full of vegetables that, like, go by and they're like, help me, we're being stolen. Like, it was so just off the wall. I really liked it. It was surprising.
We're gonna have to watch it.
I'm not a big fan in general of family movies, right? Like family animated things or things for young children. I could do without. But this was really good. So anyway, that's just my plug.
All right, we're gonna have to watch it.
Yeah, it was good. Have you been catching up or watching anything lately?
No, not this whole week, to be honest. I've been working and just getting settled in my new job. I can say the only thing we've been watching at night is The Office.
Yeah.
We just put it on and like veg out because there's not even much time until we're just totally exhausted.
Asleep.
It's so boring. Yeah.
You got to get it in. I heard that's going away from Netflix at the end of December. So you got to get it in now, everybody.
Okay, we'll get it in. And I'm trying to think. I don't think I've watched anything else. I watched almost all. Silly me. I watched almost all of The Town That Dreaded Sundown.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I found myself, after we had recorded with Horror Movie Crew, my kids were playing video games. My husband was on a call with his cigar group, and I was all alone. So I was like, this movie, if you guys didn't catch it in whatever episode I talked about this in, I remember being a young girl when there was Blockbusters and you rented videos from Blockbuster and they had the horror section, and I'd walk by and that one, the cover of it was always face up, and I could see it had that hooded guy and then a town, and I'd always look past it like I didn't want it to see me. I was so scared of it. And so I finally watched it. It was made around the same time or maybe a few years after Black Christmas.
Yeah.
But I felt like it was made in the time where, like, what was that movie with when Ron Howard was a little boy and he was Opie and...
Shit, don't ask me. I don't know.
You know what I'm talking about. No? Okay. Somebody will know what I'm talking about. But, like, in the 50s or 60s maybe is how I felt how old it was. And there was some pretty... but it was, I don't know how to explain. It was good. I mean, it was good in what it was.
Okay.
I thought the characters were interesting. There was comedy in it as well. Like, they were pretty
Weird.
funny. Again,
Okay.
the cops were funny, just like in Black Christmas.
Okay.
There was one cop that was always kind of messing stuff up that everyone teased. And so that dynamic was there. The whole thing with the killer is pretty scary. It just seemed so much older than some of the other 70s movies we watch. But my daughter kind of probably tuned in that I was watching a movie and then came in and I had to stop it.
Oh, okay.
Because the girls scream a lot when they're getting killed.
Okay, a lot of screaming.
Lots of screaming.
You'll have to let me know when you finish that, how it is. Because I almost started it after I saw that you were watching it. Because I also wanted to watch something after that. Like, I was in the mood for another, like, horror movie. But I just was like, I don't know. I couldn't, sometimes I get just stuck at looking at movies. And then I never decide on what to watch. And then I end up watching some, like, the shit I've seen before. I don't know.
Yeah, I do that too. I was researching really what happened with each of the people as each of the killings came up. To see like what actually happened versus what was in the movie, but
okay.
I mean, I think it's worth a watch. I mean, don't go into it thinking, oh, this is gonna scare the crap out of me and this is gonna be amazing. No, it's just like this old movie, but there was also something likable about it, is how I would explain it.
Okay, all right, worth a watch.
It was funny. It'll make you laugh.
Okay. I've been telling everybody about Black Christmas. I'm like, have you seen Black Christmas? Because you should fucking watch Black Christmas. It's fucking good.
Yes.
And also, Felicia mentioned this briefly, but our episode with Horror Movie Crew is out on The Mist. So definitely go check that out and show them some love because they are incredible. Very funny.
They're incredible. And it's a great episode if I do say so myself.
I agree. If it's not too much to toot our own, I mean, it's not just us, it's them too, right? But
it's like 3 other people, yeah, but...
I'm tooting all of our horns, okay?
Yes, the mixture of us all was great.
Yes. Okay, you wanna jump into this, B?
I'm ready. And real quick, before we get started, we are going to spoil the movie. We talk about everything. We don't hold ourselves back. And we also curse. We use foul language. It's not intentional. It just happens naturally. So we have a lot of energy.
Okay, here we go. We are talking about Krampus from 2015. The director is Michael Dougherty. And if that sounds familiar, it's because he also did Trick or Treat.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Did you know, or did you just make that connection?
I made the, I don't really feel like I could say I made the connection because you literally just told me.
Okay. I guess what I meant is like, did you know before I just said that?
I didn't. I don't want to take the credit for making a connection. You just told me. No, I didn't know. I didn't look up anything. Unlike you.
Sorry. Caught. Okay, so we're going to try something new. And I'm going to try to recap this movie, and I'm going to like spoil it because we kind of have this thing that we're dealing with here where it's either like we don't want to like go through the entire movie necessarily because we assume that if you have seen the movie, you're listening to this episode. But there's always the thought that, you know, somebody's coming back and listening to an episode with a movie that they watched, like, who knows, maybe years ago. Maybe you don't remember the details of what happened. And I don't know that I want to get into super details, but I want to, instead of we usually just give like a quick summary, like the log line or whatever of the movie. But I want to I wrote my own like synopsis. So bear with me as I go through this. Hopefully it's good. This is the first time I'm trying it. And then I also would love feedback if you guys like this. But I'm going to try to keep it really, really short. And we'll see how this goes.
What are we going to call this segment?
Oh, yes, I forgot.
We're trying to make a new segment. If it works, if you like it.
If you like it. We decided, at least for this time, we're going to call this Two Chicks and a Quickie.
2 Chicks and a Quickie. I can't even say it. I'm cracking myself up. 2 Chicks and a Quickie. And if you guys, what we would love though is for, you want to tell them, Tawny? I'm sorry, I'm talking.
No, you're good. Keep going.
If you have any really clever, good ideas, not like the 2 Chicks mini recap. We thought that sounded boring. So if you have any good, clever ideas of what we could call this segment, and just like Tawny said, it is like a super quick, few minute, beginning to end recap of the movie.
Just a refresh. Just to get you a refresh of it.
Ooh, refresh. Yeah. Maybe we could have some kind of like hip-hoppy sort of, I don't know. You guys are more clever. So today, it's 2 Chicks and a Quickie. But if you like something better, let us know.
Send us your suggestions. Yeah. I don't know about you, Felicia, but I definitely do not consider myself good at naming things. So that's not my strength. So here we go. We're going to jump in and we're going to try it. So our story starts with a family, just like many families, that don't really get along necessarily. We got a couple different sides, right? Different just ways that they do things, political affiliations, etc. Okay? And our main protagonist is Max. He's a little boy. And through the process of everybody coming over for Christmas, Max gets his note to Santa Claus taken by his cousins and read out loud and made fun of. So he freaks out, fights them physically, gets the note back, and goes back up to his room and tears it up and throws it out the window, which then brings Krampus inside of a gigantic blizzard that descends down upon them, okay? Then, during this blizzard, and they lose all power and water, so it's like totally dark and cold. Then the sister Beth, in a typical teenage fashion, uses any excuse possible to go see her boyfriend, who's like, 4 houses down or something. I can't remember if it's 4 houses or 4 blocks, but it's very, very close.
Blocks,
okay.
Because the mom with the kidnapper situation and me. I was like, 4 blocks is far. Okay, go ahead.
No, you're right. That is further than I was imagining. I think I was thinking houses. But she goes out to go hang out at her boyfriend's house, and when she doesn't come back, we have Tom and Howard, who are brother-in-laws, who go out on a little recon mission in Howard's gigantic, over-the-top, like, Hummer? I don't know what kind of car that is.
It was a Hummer. I think that he said.
Okay. They go out into the snow, into this blizzard, to go find her, Beth. And in the process, the Hummer gets completely demolished, totaled, while they're not even around it. And Howie gets his leg bitten by some unseen creature. So they run back to the house. They're back in the house. And then the family gets terrorized by nightmare fuel toys. And their grandmother, Omi, tells the personal story of the time she gave up hope and got her family dragged to hell by Krampus. And all she got out of that whole situation was a little old bell. So then, everybody in this family gets kidnapped. They get napped until Max is left alone. He confronts Krampus and asks him to take him instead and that he takes back the wish. And Krampus responds by throwing him into the pits of hell. But then, Max wakes up in his room on Christmas Day. Everyone is still alive. Max opens an old present, and it is the Krampus bell. Everyone, after they see this bell, seems to remember the night of terror as we zoom out to reveal the family is inside their house, inside a snow globe, and that snow globe belongs to Krampus, along with countless other snow globes. The end. How did it... I don't know.
You did great. You did great. I have cold chills. That was a really, really good recap.
All right, I should have practiced it. I don't know.
No, you did great. It was everything with not the extras, because we're going to talk about all that stuff, I'm sure.
Not too much detail.
That. Yeah, not too much detail, so you're still going to want to kind of know. Yeah, I loved it. You did a great job, Tawny. If I had like a noise machine that, woo, people cheering, I would add it.
Yeah. All right, so on to the cast. Here we go. There's a lot of them. But I didn't even get them all, so sorry for the ones I didn't. So Max, our main character, is played by MJ Anthony. And then we have Tom, who's played by Adam Scott, who is fucking phenomenal, the best. And then we have Sarah, played by Toni Collette, who is obviously also our favorite.
She's our favorite.
By the way, did you know Toni Collette is Australian?
Oh, I didn't know.
I was like watching an interview with her, and she had an Australian accent, and I was like, it blew my fucking mind.
I did not know this.
I didn't either. I don't even know how you do an American accent that well. I would have never guessed had I not watched this interview with her.
She's so amazing. I have a big girl crush on her. She's just good.
She is. She's phenomenal.
Dude, she is
her
so
face
good. She was terrified in this movie. More terrified than any other character. It was so believable. I'm not getting into anything. I just want to say that.
Yeah, totally.
She's amazing.
Incredible. And then we have Beth, who is played by Stefania LaVie Owen. A little side note here. Lolo Owen plays Stevie, the cousin, who is Stefania's younger sister. So I don't know if you noticed that, but like one of the cousins has some freckles. I'm pretty sure that is the one that's Beth's sister.
Beth is the Toni Collette's sister, right?
No, Beth is the daughter. It's Max's older sister.
Oh, I'm sorry. So Max's older sister. Sorry, I'm confusing everybody. Max's older sister. One of the cousins is her sister?
Yes, in real life.
Oh, cool.
Yes. Yeah, I thought that was neat. And then Omi is played by Krista Stadler. Aunt Dorothy, maybe my favorite character, is played by Conchata Ferrell. Linda is played by Allison Tolman. She is fucking incredible too.
What
All
else
of these
was
people
she
are great.
in? I recognized her. Oh, yes. Yes.
She's also been in other things, but they're not coming to my brain right now.
I just totally can see her, and that's what it is. Okay.
Yeah. And then Howard is played by David Ketchner. I'm not quite sure if that's how you say that.
He's in everything.
Yeah, I know. I was like, I don't even know what else.
The Office.
Okay.
Just so you know.
Okay.
It's not all bad, Tawny. Maybe take a gander before they take it away. I'm just saying.
Take it off of Netflix. Okay. So the budget for this was $15 million, and the box office was $61 million. And the ratings, because I always forget this. Hold on, I pulled it up. I don't know. Which ones do you usually do, Felicia?
I do Rotten Tomatoes. And then there's this one that's just, I don't even know what it is. It's like just a movie rating. It's like the one that's like 7.5 out of 10, that rating. And then there's a percentage rating of, I don't know.
Okay, so I'll give you all three of those.
It's like the ones when I Google it, it's the ones that pull up.
On the side here?
Yeah.
Okay, so Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 66%, which is surprising, very low. IMDb gave it a 6.2 out of 10, and Metacritic gave it a 49%. I'm surprised by all those, actually. Okay. Anyway, so that's kind of where we're at with that movie. So now I want to know, Felicia, what did you think about this movie?
Okay. So I really did like this movie. What is weird for me is I was not scared, but it was like, okay, this is going to be a very grand thing I'm going to say. So people who are really into Lord of the Rings don't like say, are you kidding me? Lord of the Rings-esque in the sense, like it's nothing like Lord of the Rings, okay? Hear me out. It's more like the experience of watching Lord of the Rings. The characters, I thought it was beautiful. I loved the characters. I thought they were frightening. I thought the story was great. I loved the acting. I loved the characters. Visually, it was just stunning. I wasn't scared. I didn't have any jump scares. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, if you're watching Lord of the Rings, I'm just going to keep going with Lord of the Rings, and you see some of those, I think they're called orcs, these beasts.
Yes.
They're terrifying looking, but it's not like I'm scared while I'm watching the movie. But I'm along for the ride, and I'm here for the journey. So, does that make sense?
Yeah, totally.
Like, I really enjoyed it, but I wasn't scared by it. And maybe I wasn't supposed to be, and that's totally fine. I loved it, all of those reasons. I thought it was beautiful. I love the acting. I love the story. I want to see the next one. But what really did it for me, so I watched the whole thing, and I was like, that was really good. That was really good. And then as the boy woke up and went downstairs, I'm like, oh, that was a good movie. I liked that. And then they were in the snow. Look, I got cold chills again. They were in the snow globe. So that was an ending I loved. I was like, oh, they didn't get away. They're in a snow globe. Right? That's what it was. They did, or we don't know.
Yeah, I think it's left up to interpretation.
Oh, I interpreted that he got him.
Yeah.
And they're in because at first when they opened, I'm going right to the end, guys. When he opened the bell and everyone looked awkward, I said to everybody, I was like, oh, they all had the same dream. That's what I assumed.
Okay.
That they all had the same dream. That's why they were all looking at the bell like, oh shit, did that really happen? What the hell? And then I realized, oh my God, he got them all. And they're in this ball. But I guess now that I'm saying that, the grandma wasn't in the ball with her family. Oh, but she didn't get thrown into the pit. Okay, anyway, sorry. I'm just working it out in my head. So I really liked it. I do want to say one thing. My husband loved it.
Okay.
So he gets up.
I'm surprised. Who else watched this movie with you, by the way?
The
Did the rest of your family? Okay.
Just not TT. TT, was in, she went to bed, but the whole family watched it. My middle daughter, she fell asleep halfway through, not because it was boring. She does not stay up that late.
Okay.
And my oldest daughter watched the whole thing, and she really liked it because she does not like being really scared.
Right.
So she liked it. My husband gets up after the movie, and I look at him, and he goes, I really liked that movie. That was a great movie. You know what? That is probably one of the best horror movies I've ever seen. And I was like, Steve, the best horror movie. And he goes, yeah, the best. What are you going to rate that movie? And we won't even get into it. When we get to ratings, I'll let you know what he said. But he loved it.
Oh, we won over Steve.
Yes.
We won him over.
Two. He loved Little Monsters. He loved this. And he loved Tucker. And
Dale and Tucker.
Dale and Tucker versus Evil. He likes the comedy, but he's like, there's a story, there's great acting, it was visually appealing, and I'm like, okay, babe. But I agree.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, obviously I put this one up. I love this movie. I think it's super fun. I don't think it's scary. It's, the things look scary, but it's not I think the people who are meant to be scared by this movie are younger kids You know, like this
teens
is a gateway
preteens.
horror for like children who are.
So maybe I could have TT watch it.
Oh, maybe not. I don't know.
This is gateway horror.
I keep saying children, but what I think I mean is like 14.
I'm not gonna have TT watch it. I'm just joking.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know anything.
I like how you said that though, like gateway drugs, gateway horror.
Yes. Yeah, because they're scary looking, but it's really overall. I mean, and that's what puts it in the horror category is like what's like the plot and what's happening is horror, but it's a horror comedy. It's a holiday horror comedy. It's like a really weird mix.
That clown was so gross. It was good gross. Like it was really good gross.
I know.
Yeah, just really visually was beautiful. Oh, in the beginning when she was going out to find her boyfriend and she was walking in the blizzard, at first when they were like, "Can I go?" She's like, "Can I go to my boyfriend's?" And I was like, no." And the girls are like, "Mom, it's just snowing." And I'm like, "It's a blizzard." And then she's out there, and I'm like, "See? I'm not letting any of you go out in that." But she was walking to her boyfriend's house, and when she sees the Krampus, like the shadow on the roof, and then it's running and jumping, I said out loud to everybody, like, "Oh, that's cool."
Yeah.
That is cool. I thought Krampus was super cool. I just wished he'd close his mouth maybe every once in a while.
Okay.
But he was super cool. Only because I was just like, "Oh, close your mouth." He was spooky. What's really spooky is that scene where it was like right after I think the little boy, his cousin was stolen after they were in the snowplow, and he comes out and Krampus gives him, that's when he gives him the bell, right? His eyes.
Oh, yeah. Super creepy looking.
Great.
Yes. And I have a little tidbit about that. Maybe I'll just say it now. Let me find it.
I thought his hooves, the weight of him, his robe, the stuff hanging off of him. I thought he was a badass bad guy. I loved it. I think it was just when you were seeing a lot of him and his mouth was just open so much, but he was still scary.
Yeah, totally. So check this out. Krampus's true face is hidden underneath a Santa Claus-like mask and is never fully revealed to the audience as a choice by the filmmakers to allow viewers to make their own conclusions on his actual appearance. His eyes and mouth are the only visible traces that can be seen through parts of the mask. So like you wouldn't know that without like, looking it up and looking at the research,
so that
I think.
mouth open is a mask. That's why it hangs that way. Okay, I didn't catch that. My kids didn't either, because I know my daughter said, "Oh, I wish he would close his mouth. It was making my jaw ache," because my daughter has like her jaw aches. And okay. I wish I would have known that.
I mean, again, it's like there's really no reason in the story, in the movie, to tell you that that's what's happening. But the fact that everything else is very animatronic and does move its mouth and stuff, it does feel like it was a purposeful decision on their part. And all of the other elves, helpers, the dark elves that he has with him, they're all wearing masks too. So I mean, again.
You know what? I don't think they show him long enough. Like for a long period of time that I noticed his eyes, but that I noticed that there was something behind his mouth too. That would have been cool if I could knew that was a mask, even just like a glimpse, or maybe I missed it.
I don't know. They could have done maybe a little bit better of a job, because I didn't know either until I read this, right? And I think I did think, I wish he would move his mouth. Like that's a little bit scarier. But knowing that now that it's a purposeful decision, it's like, okay.
It's better. Yeah. Yeah, it's better. I wish I would have realized that. Now, moving forward, I know.
Yeah. I don't really have any, specific notes. I didn't take any notes for myself, so I don't know if you want to go.
Look at my notes. I have nothing. I have the Universal intro was really cool.
Yes, yeah.
It was really cool. And I have, I love the Christmas intro. Oh, with everybody fighting.
Yeah.
Oh, that was great. How they had that Christmas and everyone fighting and punching each other while this pretty Christmas music plays about the holiday spirit. And I loved that whole opening. And then I literally just put down my notes and just watched. And I really enjoyed it. If we just want to start, like, I don't even know where to start. I loved the characters. Yeah. I thought they did a great job. I thought they were very realistic. All of them, even the irritating family, everything. It all resonated. It was all very real. And I loved that little boy. Oh, he's just such a cutie. And I loved that relationship he had with his Oma.
Yes.
Toni Collette, dude, in that, I'm skipping now, I'm sorry. In that attic scene where it's her husband, and her sister, right? Yeah. And they're getting attacked by all these toys. Her screaming. Okay, everybody was scared, was like movie scared, appropriately. Not like it was bad acting, but they were scared. She was like terrified. She's so good at that, isn't she, in every movie she does?
Yes.
I loved it. I even said out loud during that scene, oh my God, she's a goddess.
Yes, she fucking is. Moments that I love with Toni Collette in this movie are, I love the moment when she hangs up the picture that they took at the like mall or whatever with the Santa, and she notices that the Santa is looking at her daughter's ass. Yeah. And she just gives this like little eye roll. Like she's just like, oh fuck. Like you can see it in her face that she's like, fuck, come on. You know? And it was like just like all of that in a look. She doesn't even say anything. It's so good.
Yes.
And then, I mean, she's just fucking great all the time. But my other favorite moment is at the very, very end after Max pulls the bell out. Because the only other face that you can see in the shot, in the beginning of the shot, is Toni Collette's. Mm-hmm. And she happens to look over and see the bell, and you can see the moment in her face when it changes from, oh, fuck. Like, she starts to remember, you know? And they also have, like, sounds happening over the movie that you're getting the gist that they're remembering this nightmarish, you know what I mean, thing that they had happen to them. But I love that face. And she does something similar in Hereditary, too, when I shouldn't ruin it for Hereditary, but there is a moment in Hereditary where her face switches real fast, and you're just like, oh, fuck. Like,
she's so good.
So good.
I noticed that, too, in the end.
Yeah.
Her look, and it was like, boom. I was like, oh, it was so subtle. And then I thought her husband, what's his name again?
Tom in the movie, but Adam Scott, yeah.
Adam Scott, he did it. And I was like, oh, that was really good. It was subtle, but we get what's going on. That was phenomenal. Another scene I really loved with her was how, and I could really, really relate to her about, having a house full of people. It's the holiday season, but maybe she doesn't want all those people. You know what I mean? Yeah. But she wants to be loving and everything like that. When she was in the kitchen and her aunt started bitching about the food, and she was like, get out of my kitchen. But she still remained her composure, but she stuck up for herself. I loved how she did that.
Me too. Yeah, because you can tell she's already fed up. By the time that they get there, she's done, like she's frustrated. And so I also love in that scene how she like sneaks up behind her, kind of like she doesn't sneak up, but she's just there and you don't notice until the camera moves around Toni Collette and she's right there. She's like, yes. You know how this healthy food clogs my pipes.
Yeah. Yes. It was where we should go to your, it was great. It was great. What else? The monsters.
Yes.
I thought they were all very, very good. I thought about you and how they were practical, right?
Yep.
Yes. I even told the kids about it, that they were practical, and told them what that was. I thought that it made it just so much better. It wasn't hokey. And not any of the monsters. I thought they were all really, really great. One of the scariest to me was, the gingerbread men were silly, but they were cool too. Was that clown. So gross. It was just like this. No, I liked it.
Yeah, that's your favorite one.
It was just this big slug in its face. Like, I thought that it was, Krampus is my favorite, but I thought of his minions. That was one of my favorite of his minions.
Okay, I planned on asking you that. Which one is your favorite? So it's the clown, the slug clown.
Well, Krampus is my favorite. Yeah, but the slug clown is my favorite of his minions.
Okay, I think mine might be, God, I don't know. I have a hard time between the angel, but I'm going to say the angel. I'm going to say the little cherub, the little devil cherub. I like how fucking like chaotic that one is. Like,
and strong. My God, she's so small.
Yes, and she's scary and like, but yeah, I just feel like she's more fucking like, I don't know, like jittery than the other ones in a way. Like the quality
she
movement.
was like, you look at her and she's in your face and she's on you.
Yeah.
And then again, she's on you. And then no one could pull her off. She's so small, but no one could pull her off. Yeah, she's great.
Yeah, I liked that one a lot. And the teddy bear is also very good, right?
The teddy bear's mouth. The silliest ones were probably the gingerbread men to me. When the one gingerbread man came down, I thought, oh, I wonder.
Oh, on the hook?
Yeah, I was a little worried. I was like, I hope I like this. So far, I was liking it, but then it was this little gingerbread guy. But then all the other things were great. His elves were scary, too.
Yeah, they were scary, but they don't have that same level of, like, I don't know, there's not the same level of comedic effect, I feel like, as with the other ones. Because the other ones are so fucking off the wall, like, it's, like, horrifying. Like, the elves are kind of scary, but they're not, like, horrifying like the other things, you know? So.
No, yeah, and you don't get a good look at them. They kind of just move fast. There's a whole pack of them. They're just, you know. Yeah, I agree with you on that. Yeah. That was good.
I'm so glad your family watched this. I was going to say this earlier because I meant to I was like, should I write to Felicia and tell her, like, your whole family should watch this movie? But I was like, I'm not trying to, like, tell anybody what to do. But it is, like, a family movie, right?
Yeah. Yeah, when my oldest daughter, who screams at everything, was like, she was like, oh, I like that because it didn't scare me. But the things were scary looking. And yeah, I really enjoyed it.
It definitely has that, like, Christmas magic. We've talked about this a few times. The Santa magic feel while also being a horror movie. And it's not super scary, but it's also very funny. And yeah, there's this whole like mythology kind of around it. It feels very, I don't know. There's just something about this movie that feels so right to me. I love it. And so I bought it. I just have it on Amazon. You know, I bought it digitally and I watch it every year. Like, it's so good.
I probably would watch this every year too. It is good. And TT, this will be her gateway movie to horror.
Gateway horror.
I mean, yeah. So, for anybody who is mad at me still about, I got crazy there. Who's still mad at me about the Lord of the Rings comparison. When we started watching it, I said out loud to everybody, this gives me the feel of like Gremlins and the Labyrinth.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Oh.
Right? It's like this story. I'm along for the ride. The practical, monsters and effects and things like that. This is what, of course, on a way better scale than those movies, Krampus and all of that. But still, that's how I felt.
Yes.
Watching this movie.
You're exactly right. It is like a mashup of those movies. It's... Yeah. Yeah. And I have a couple...
Another movie, have you seen Legend?
Legend.
Yeah, it was with Tom Cruise. He was super young. He still had crooked teeth. It was before he got Hollywooded up. No, just kidding. Tom Cruise, and it's mystical. It's about this last unicorn, and there's the darkness, which is this... First of all, the best devil in any movie, hands down, is the devil in Legend. Dude, this guy was boss. Okay. He was so amazing. Okay, everybody's got to Google the devil from Legend. And the movie's called Legend, and it had Tom Cruise, so you'll be able to find that. But this would be another one, and if you ever watch it, you'll see what I mean. There's like the goblins and the things like that have the very same type of feel, but it's also this beautiful, magical, same thing.
Okay.
Legend.
Okay, I'll look that up because I do like that feel sometimes, and sometimes I get in the mood for that type of movie. Like I'm like, I am about to watch the fucking Lord of the Rings, like all of them. Like I'm gonna watch the Lord of the Rings, and then I'm gonna watch the fucking Hobbit, and then I'm gonna watch Harry Potter. Like sometimes I'm just in the mood for that. Like, well, I don't know what it's like. What is it called? It's like, God, it's escaping me right now. But grand fantasy, something like that.
I don't know.
The
That's a good term though.
It's
grand
something
fantasy.
It's something like that, though, like big fantasy, or I don't know, something like that, where it's like, over several books or
Epic.
movies. Epic fantasy. Thank you.
You're
I knew it was a word like that. Oh, God. This is why.
When you said over several movies, I was like, oh, that's an epic.
Epic fantasy. Yeah, exactly.
I think you would like Legend then.
Okay.
Not to digress, but I think you'll like it.
I've been trying to talk Jade into watching the Christmas Chronicles because that seems very epic Christmas fantasy to me. Like, I have only heard good things about it, and I think it was from some of the people who made some of the Harry Potter movies or something. I don't know. But I'm like, this seems fun. Like, this seems like super fun and magical. So
yeah, you should watch that too. That's a good one.
I'm excited for that one. But yeah.
But yes, that's the feeling I got, and I love all of those movies. And I think the reason I started saying that as a shock is because I thought Krampus was going to be this horror movie, like almost like what did we watch? The Descent. Like I thought Krampus was going to be like one of those beings. And tearing in and ripping people apart. That's what I was expecting. So when that's not what happened at all, I still liked it. It was just so not what I was thinking it was going to be.
Okay, the way that you started to talk about your review of this movie, I got nervous. I was like, fuck, because I thought there was like a chance that you were going to hate this. Like, I was like, I don't know, something could go wrong here. Her expectations could be off. There could be something weird, and she could hate, or like not like the humor. Like, if you don't like the comedy in this movie, I can see how you would dislike this. Because that is like what makes this movie fun is the comedy. And so I was like, oh no, is she going to hate this? Like, is she going to come out of nowhere and hate this, and I'm going to be sad about it? So I'm so glad. But the way you started talking about it, you were like, it's not that I hated this movie.
I don't think I said that. But I did go, okay. No, I really like this movie. That's where it came from. It was so not what I was expecting, but I liked it.
Yeah.
So that makes me feel better that wasn't its intention either, was to be like a horror, bloody, rip apart movie.
Yeah, I don't think so, right? Because it's PG-13, and I did read that the studio they only agreed to do it based on it being a PG-13, which is also why you don't see anybody die, right?
Oh, shoot. Yeah. Oh, see, I do no research. I don't even know the rating. But I don't even have to research the rating because I click on the movie, but I don't look.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't either.
Okay.
But I just know that from research.
That's even better. Yeah. Okay, that's even better. It's PG-13. That totally fits.
Yeah. I mean, it's fucking Michael Dougherty can do a holiday movie, can he not? Like, there's something very special about the way that he can distill the feeling of a holiday, both with Trick or Treat and Krampus, that feels so just totally perfect, just pitch perfect for those holidays. And he did say, I watched a handful of interviews, but he said in an interview, I consider this movie the spiritual successor to Trick or Treat because it's, along the same lines. Yeah.
I love that. Is he going to do Valentine's Day and St. Patrick's Day and Easter? He should. I don't know what kind of good story
I would love it.
Would come up, but I would love it too. If he had a whole series.
Yes. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Of horror, comedy, like
his
movies.
Genre all throughout the year for all of the holidays.
I would love it. Yeah.
Me
and
too.
He, even in the movie, Howard makes a comment like, oh God, I don't remember the exact line, but he says something like, next thing you know, we'll be having like an Easter bunny biting off people's heads or so, I don't know, something like that. And I was like, I would actually love more holiday horror comedies from Michael Dougherty. Like, he does such a good job, and his attention to detail is like really impressive. So bring it on.
The Easter Bunny is a good one because I was scared. I obviously liked the Easter Bunny because it brought me the baskets, but I was scared. I think, if you let your kids watch this, listen to this or watch this podcast, just, you might want to close their ears right now, but because I'm going to say something about the Easter Bunny. So one of my parents must have, when I was sleeping, and it was, the night the Easter Bunny was supposed to come, I woke up in the middle of the night and I was under my covers and I heard crunching on the carrot. And
Okay.
I was terrified. I mean, this had been one of my parents, obviously. I was terrified of this it just all hit me. This giant bunny crunching this carrot in my bedroom. I was terrified. I was breathing under my blanket with my eyes closed, like, please don't come in. Please don't come in.
Oh my God. That is
I
terrifying.
remember one of my kids being scared too about just this idea of this giant bunny coming into the house. I mean, it can sound fun, but if you really think about it, it's creepy. And leprechauns can be creepy AF for sure.
We've already got a slasher franchise with Leprechaun, right?
Yeah. And but Valentine's, you could totally do some serial killer-esque type thing around.
Oh, totally. That one's
being
dark.
Rejected. That can get real dark.
Real dark.
Mr. Dougherty, that's how you say his last name?
Mm-hmm.
When he listens to this podcast episode, he'll be like, great ideas, ladies.
I'm sure.
I'm going to do it.
We need to find some like other pagan holidays that people are like not super aware of and like create a plot
there's so many.
out of those.
There's so many.
I bet we could.
Yeah.
I guess people didn't really know about Krampus until like 2013 when all these movies, because like this is not the only Krampus movie. There is a good handful of like other B-rated horror Krampus movies that you've never heard of, but yeah, this is by far the most well known.
Oh, is this a real story?
Krampus?
Like a real legend.
Yeah.
Krampus.
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it originated in Europe somewhere. I'm sorry, I hope I don't get this wrong, but I think it's Austria. It's like German. German would be a bigger umbrella, right?
Okay, yeah.
Everyone?
It's a German folktale or urban legend or something.
Yeah. And I have a couple notes about that later. Because I think it kind of crosses a little bit over in other European countries, but I think that is where it originated.
I didn't know he was a real thing.
And it's also dude, I was going to do like research on actual Krampus and I didn't. Maybe I'll pull it up at the end and I'll cut all this out and we'll talk about it.
Yeah, I didn't know that he was a real thing. So is it really similar to that lady's story? Obviously not her story, but like what he does and why he comes?
Yes. Going by memory, just from what I researched, it is like how they talk about in the movie. It's the shadow of Santa Claus. Krampus would come and punish the bad kids, whereas Santa, Saint Nick, comes and gives presents to the good kids. Like now it's like, I don't know, in the United States and where we are now in time, the idea is that Santa comes and does both. He leaves like coal for the bad kids and presents for the good kids. But the way that this is split up is more like Krampus is for the bad kids. And so he would leave something else. I can't remember, like sticks or something. But he's often portrayed as a demon. He's like a black furry demon with horns and like a long tongue. And a lot of the like illustrations have him with one hoof and one like human foot. And he also has like a big bundle of sticks that he would swat children with. And I think there's also this element of taking children, either to drown them or to, drag them to hell or do all kinds of shit. Yeah. Okay. Real dark.
So I have to say this. We baby our children way too much. Why, as a society, did we come up with these elves we have to move every damn night and you forget, and then the kids are like, why did you move the elves? Because the elves watch them, right? That's supposed to be your thing, like you gotta be good. Because being on the naughty list and not getting presents was like bad, but then it's like whatever, I guess. Because they still get presents. I don't know, kids aren't scared by that anymore. Right. So then we introduced these elves, which my daughter has stopped looking for them. It's not even Christmas yet. She won't even look for them. Now, if it was like, look, screw the list. Well, no, there's a list. There's good kids, bad kids. But what happens is Santa comes for the bad kids and Krampus comes. I mean, vice versa. Sorry. Santa comes for the good kids and Krampus comes for the bad kids. So it's up to you, player. What do you want to do? That's so much more impactful way to, like, you know, get your kids to behave.
Scare the shit out of them.
Yeah, and get them to behave before Christmas. I think I'm gonna introduce Krampus to Titi. I think she's 7 in January, and I think it's a good age.
Her birthday's in January too.
January 15th.
Wow.
And then
we got some January birthdays.
My middle baby is February 2nd. So
okay,
right after us.
Okay, here we go. I'm gonna just read you what is on Wikipedia to make sure that I didn't say the wrong thing. Are you ready?
Oh gosh, I'm ready.
Yes.
I want to hear about this. I had no idea.
Okay, so Krampus is a horned, anthropomorphic figure in Alpine folklore who during the Christmas season scares children who have misbehaved, assisting to St. Nicholas, who rewards the well-behaved on the 5th of December at night with modest gifts, and bad ones with birch rod only. The origin of the figure is unclear. Some folklorists and anthropologists have postulated, sorry, there's a lot of big words here, have postulated it as having pre-Christian origin. So this is like a long time ago.
Oh, this is pagan all the way.
Mm-hmm. In traditional parades and in such events as the Krampuslauf, in English that means Krampus Run, young men dressed as Krampus participate. Such events occur annually in most Alpine towns. Krampus is featured on holiday greeting cards called Krampuskarten. Since 2013, the character has become better known globally, having been portrayed in horror movies. Almost unknown before this time, Krampus has begun to become part of American pop culture.
I have this whole thing planned out. Next year, or maybe this year if I could pull it off, I'll have like the elves, they'll just be sticks. And one of the elves has a little yellow plastic jacket. And so they'll only be the plastic jacket and like the sticks that you were just talking about, the twigs, the switches, I think they're called if they spank, the switches.
Birch rods.
I'll have some birch rods. She won't know. I don't know where to find birch, but and then the jacket. And she'll be like, "Where are the elves?" And there'll be a storybook. Yes, the Krampus storybook, the elves jacket, because we'll do away with those elves. And I'll be like, oh, Krampus must have took the elves. Who's Krampus?
Oh.
And I'll read her the storybook.
Oh, I like this. I like this because it's dark.
I like it too.
I want an update.
Okay, I'll give you an update. I have to find a storybook.
You do this.
I don't want to show her the movie. I don't want her to have that visuals burned into her mind of all those toys and stuff, but
some of the old like illustrations of this thing are fucking terrifying. Like you might have to find a more modern. I also read in that Wikipedia earlier that more modern representations have gotten cuter, like more cherubic, right? Like little baby Krampuses or something. No, I haven't seen them, but
I want that one.
Oh, okay. You want to scare the shit out of her?
Well,
okay.
She's already seen him because I was actually working on our social posts, for the episode announcement, and she came up. And so that picture of Krampus outside of the house, she went, "What is that?" And I go, "It's Krampus." That's all I said, though, because I didn't know anything else about him. I never saw the movie. I said, "It's Krampus." And she's like, "Oh, scary movie, Mom."
You have no idea.
You have no idea, honey. I just found out it's a true story. I just found out it's based on true events.
Yep.
Loosely based on true events. Okay, I'll give you an update. I really like these movies and stories that are based on these. Are they called folktales? Like Stephen King's The Outsider. That book is, I won't give it away because it's the big thing in the story, but it's based on this old folklore, right? And I love that because there's an element, not necessarily of truth, but almost like when you think of urban legends or folklore, there is like this little kernel of truth. Like, for example, St. Nicholas, right, was a man who would bring stuff and put stuff in. I'm not prepared to be super educated on explaining this, but he was a
Right
real
now.
man right now. I remember reading it a long time ago where the kids would put their shoes out of front of their door and he would put little candies and stuff. So it was like based on a real man. And then it just blew up, right? Now we have
Right.
Santa Claus now. So it's almost like some of these urban legends started with this teeny kernel of truth. So there's that whole thing, like when you're watching a movie, right? And it says, based on true events. All of a sudden, so you're ready to watch a movie. Okay, cool. Based on true events. You have this moment of, oh God. I feel that way with like folklore type stories because I feel they were based on some truth or a believing of truth. Like for example, and I won't get too, sorry, I'm going to just digress for a half a second. For example, it back in the day when the people thought that God was angry, he was there was thunder, right? I mean, they thought this was real. So even if the folklore is based on something they think is real, and then over time it just expands. I hope I explained that right. Okay.
Yeah, no, totally. I mean, you look at Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, right, which we talked about in our Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark movie episode. Almost all of those stories are based on folklore, right?
Yeah.
And in the back of the book, it's just notes and acknowledgments about where those stories came from. So like at the time I, read all those, and they're old. They're based on folk tales. You've got like of course like ghosts and stories that people know about, like the call is coming from inside the house or what, like there's kind
high
of
beams.
High beams. There's stories that are like passed down and they change a little bit based on, but there's also creatures, right? We got the Wendigo. We have the like skinwalkers. There's like the black, I don't know if I'm saying this right, the Black Hat Man, maybe? I don't know if you've heard of this one. This seems like maybe a newer one, but then there's also like Black Hat Man, I think, is the name. I've read some stories about that, and it's super creepy. You've got Slender Man, which is newer, but more.
I can't believe you said his name. I haven't think about saying his name. I'm so scary. I hate it.
At some point, I'm gonna curate, because I don't know if do you know much about Slender Man in general? And like where it came from and all that?
Not a whole lot. I heard he was just made up by some person and then it like took hold, but I don't know a whole lot about it because I'm scared of him.
No, that's the gist though. There was like I think there was an online prompt situation, and somebody had, come up with this whole idea for a story and the mythology behind it and whatever. And there's this YouTube series called Marble Hornets. And Marble Hornets took this idea and ran with it. This is my understanding, so please let me know if I'm wrong about this. But Marble Hornets is a series of YouTube videos that's like found footage, all, kind of centered around Slender Man, and they have some incredible YouTube episodes. But there's so many of them that I'd like to curate some of the best ones for you and send those to your way, because they're so good. They scared
so
the
thoughtful,
shit out of
Tawny.
me.
That's just so thoughtful. So thoughtful.
Well, you don't want to watch the boring ones.
No, I do. I'm curious, and I don't know why. Him in particular, of all the things I see, there's just the pictures of him, and it really he really scares me. I play Roblox with my daughter. It's like her the happiest moment is when she's like, "Mommy, will play Roblox with me?" And I say yes. And one of the Roblox is trying to escape Slender Man, and she knows. She'll go, "What should we play?" I know you don't want to play that one. She'll do it every single time because he scares me so much.
He's scary. He's a scary figure until you know, like, the origins and how it was.
Okay.
Like,
curated
I was scared until I
I'll
knew.
watch it.
Okay, I will do that. It'll be great.
But you were scared until you knew.
Yeah, and then you start to be like, oh, okay, this is not real. It's just like the Blair Witch Project, right? Like, I was scared out of my fucking pants until I knew that was not a real, that was not real footage, right? It was not a real thing. It was super scary. But I just feel like Marble Hornets is like the new version of that, right? It's on YouTube. It's found footage. It's like a slow burn, really scary thing. That was the first thing I had ever seen regarding Slender Man. And then I, looked into it and realized that it was essentially just born out of, somebody creating a story. So.
Okay, I want to see it. The one guy I'm not scared of is this Siren Head character. Is so bizarre and ridiculous. Have you not heard of Siren Head?
I don't know what this is.
Dude, it's just this really wicked, tall, skinny, and its head is sirens. And there's this one man that goes, oh my gosh, and sees Siren Head, and you see it walking across, and it's obviously digital, right? But there's like this huge thing now with Siren Head. There's music about Siren Head.
This is news to me. I'm going to have to look it up. Okay.
But you know what? Going along the lines of everything that you're saying here with the urban legend sort of thing, it's even like in nursery rhymes. Here's just another example. I'm just trying to nail it home with my examples. Nursery rhymes. Me and my daughter spent, an hour researching nursery rhymes because they're creepy. They're oranges. Not oranges. Origins.
They're oranges.
They're oranges. The reason why they were created. Like if you think about Ring Around the Rosie, a Pocket Full of Posies. A Pocket Full of Posies because of all the people dying from the plague, the flowers, how it masks the smell. You guys know. So it's this dark element under something that's seemingly for children, right? A story. And I really like that. That was my 50-minute my case for liking this.
Grimm's fairy tale type, yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. That is why I like this movie. It's because it's the dark version of a normal Christmas movie, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, sorry y'all. I had to get a new drink. And what were we going to talk about?
I got a new drink too. I just got my Orange Blossom again. That's my go-to. I love this beer.
Oh, yeah.
Papago.
That looks so good.
Papago Orange Blossom. It's really, really good. The other one was really good, by the way. The Lagunitas. It was really good. It was thick. I was telling Tawny that once, it wasn't this brand, it was another brand that was this coffee vanilla. For some reason, I just thought it meant coffee flavor. I didn't realize there's really coffee in it. So it was the evening, and I drank like 3 of them, and I was wired all night. Like I was so wired until like 3 a.m. And I was like, what is wrong with me? Oh, it's the coffee beer has real coffee in it. Such a dork.
That's why I avoid that stuff, because I am like, oh, it's normally caffeinated, and that buzz, it makes me all crazy.
Yeah.
Even today, I had like 2 of these energy drinks that I normally have, and I was like talking to Jade, and he was like, slow down, I can't hear you. Like it's almost like I'm on drugs.
You're awesome. And if you don't like watching YouTube, just watch that one, like, half a second of Tawny talking about that, because she did this, like, this energetic robot movement, and it was so good.
Oh, God.
My hair, it was, like, when I first washed it this morning, it had this real great, like, 70s, 80s wave going on, and now it's, like, flat. It's so flat. Anyway, again, YouTube, if you want to see how flat my hair is.
Get on there. Look at us.
Get on there.
But while we were on break, we were talking about the fact that this movie, there's really not a lot to say other than we just love it. Like, we just love it, and you should watch it. Like, there's not a lot of notes.
Yeah, I literally took no notes. I put my notepad down and watched it. But usually when I do that, I have it right by me, because there's always something I want to jot down. Oh, I really like that, or I really like this. The movie was like, I really liked it, and I could say it was just visually beautiful. I liked the story. There's some of the moments I shared, but it was just it's really hard to explain. It was just kind of the whole experience. Like, for example, all the relatives coming over and that feeling of, we have to do this because it's Christmas and we should. This is the season where families should be together, right? But then this element of, why do we have to do this to ourselves? Like, if we don't get along, and it's more stress and anguish to have these people over, why not just spend this beautiful quiet evening with your husband and your children and really enjoy it? Why do we feel forced to have to spend time with people that stress us out and degrade us and upset us, if that's your family situation, of course. But then it twisted to, that's not really the element. Like, we made, okay, I feel like we may think of those surface level things, and of course all situations are different. Some people are just terrible. But a lot of times what we do is we look at, oh, this and this and this and this frustrates me about this person. I don't have to be with them. And there's all this craziness, like the Lampoon Christmases, all of that, all Christmas movies. But underlying, like, these people really love, that's truly why they invite them over. If they didn't like them, they wouldn't, but they love them. And there's this love and respect that's underlining that when they're all together and faced with this life-threatening experience, they really come together because they love each other. And I really liked that element of it. But that's, it's hard to pick each of those pieces apart in our podcast like we do with some other movies. It's just kind of like an overall feeling and experience, right?
Totally. Yeah. And like, I can think of a few moments, right, that sum up what you're saying. It's like, you've got Max, who in his letter writes, I wish things weren't so hard for Uncle Howard and Aunt Linda. Like, and the two sisters, Sarah and Linda, they, talk about the ornaments and everything that she saved from their mother. Like, they reminisce about that kind of stuff. And there's just, those are only two that off the top of my head, but there's moment after moment that shows you that these people really love each other. And there is a line by Adam Scott, who says, maybe it's that we need to work a little harder to figure out what we have in common, right? And it's so, at the end of the day, it is a very heartfelt movie. Like, it's just it's just got such a heart to it, this movie.
They all try to save each other.
Yes.
At one point. And I like how they come around. It wasn't cheesy to me, even though it could be cheesy. It wasn't. I really liked it. I really liked how the aunt came around too, right? She was still like making hot chocolate schnapps and stuff with the kids, but she wasn't like this. At first when she came in, I was like, get that out of here. Like, get her out. Like, she is so rude and condescending. But then she morphed into like the house mom in Black Christmas.
Totally.
Or, you know what I mean? And she was like obnoxiously endearing. You know what I mean? And all of them they didn't completely change. So it's not like she completely changed and she was this good motherly character. She was still her. But I don't know, she loves her family. Or why would she want to spend the holidays with them, even though she's a pain in the ass? I think that's at the end of it. Why would they all want to go over and spend the holidays if they really hated each other? They don't. They love each other. They're just super different people.
Yeah, they definitely have respect for one another, and they even learn to love each other more throughout this, trial. But yeah, I love her character, Aunt Dorothy. She's probably my favorite. I love Toni Collette. Like, she transcends any character, but Aunt Dorothy is probably my favorite because she's just so fucking funny. She's like, walks in the door, where's the nog? I need to get Mary.
Yes.
She's like, I'll teach you how to make peppermint schnapps. By the way, this was one of my favorite moments that I didn't realize until I watched, like, most recently, was the kid, Howie Jr., the kid, he doesn't even talk. it's, their son, Linda and Howard's son. And he just looks at her after she makes the drink and bats his eyes. And she's like, all right, but don't rat me out, and gives him some of the drink. That cracked my ass up just because I hadn't noticed it before. Like, it had taken me a few viewings to see that. But yeah, I just love it. It's so full of everything Christmassy, but also it's a horror movie. It's just so great.
Can I ask you, there's one part that I rewound and I still didn't see it. What was in the Jack in the Box box that was by the car that his sister, when she was underneath the car and there was the Jack in the Box box? I don't know if it was the TV, my old eyes, I don't know what it was, but I was trying to make out what was coming out of the box.
I couldn't see it really either. So
okay.
I wonder if they didn't have to cut some of that, because there are a few moments that feel jumpy, and I'll talk about here in a second some of the cut scenes. Like, there are a couple moments that feel jumpy that, like, you can't help but feel like, oh, they must have cut something out here, right? And so I wonder if that was one of those moments where they maybe cut something to be more PG-13, but I did not pick up on anything more than you did.
Oh, okay. Do you want to share some of your trivia?
Yes. Okay, so here we get into the trivia. So you know that Michael Dougherty did Trick or Treat, so there are a handful, and by handful I mean, like, I'm going to read you 3, moments where there are...
They do all fit in your hand.
True.
They will make your hand
I'm not wrong.
full. They'll make your hand full.
Trick or Treat, like, little Easter eggs in this movie. Are you ready? I led with this because I thought you were going to be the most excited about it.
I'm ready.
Okay, so
because I didn't catch any of it because I'm so observant. I didn't catch any of it.
Don't beat yourself up, because I think 2 out of the 3 of these got cut out. They're cut scenes. They're deleted scenes, which is a real bummer. But if you have the DVD, maybe you can go back and watch them. Also, you can find them on YouTube, actually, and I did plan on sending the links. We'll put the links on our Facebook group. So if you want to go and see those, join our Facebook group. Anywho, okay, so here's number 1. In a cut scene, the fathers, Tom and Howard, hear a blizzard warning for the central Ohio area that covers Franklin County, Delaware County, Ramona Falls, and Warren Valley. Warren Valley is the fictional town where Michael Dougherty's Trick or Treat took place.
Oh, I love that when they do that shit.
I do too.
Love it.
And Michael Dougherty just really has an eye for that. Like, in Trick or Treat itself, there's a lot of weaving the different stories between each other, so he was going to do that in this movie.
I love that.
Number 2. At the beginning of the film, the TV in the kitchen is showing a news broadcast with the scroll saying Season's Greetings. So and I can't remember if we talked about this in that episode that we talked about Trick or Treat, but Season's Greetings is a 1996 animated short film directed by Michael Dougherty that introduced Sam, the demonic Halloween spirit from his cult classic Trick or Treat. Oh. And that's the other link that I'll put in, because it
just says Season's Greetings, or it's referring to that movie, because Season's Greetings is a pretty standard thing to say.
It is, like, really general. It does say I think it says Season's Greetings. I think there's a question mark at the end. Season's Greetings. But so it's okay. It's truly an Easter egg. Like, nobody would really pick up on it unless you knew that he had done that. And I actually don't remember talking about it when we talked about Trick or Treat, so I don't know if it's really well known, and it's like a 4-minute short, really simple, but I guess he animated it himself, which is really impressive.
Yeah. You know what would have been cool? If on the TV there was news about what happened in Warren County.
Oh, yeah.
During Halloween.
That would have been awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, missed opportunity.
Mr. Dougherty.
Call us. Obviously, we have the best ideas.
Yes.
Just kidding. Kind of. Okay, number 3. In the movie, this is my favorite one, but this is also a deleted scene. So, in the movie, Max shares some candy from his Halloween stash to comfort his cousins. Inside, you can see a lollipop identical to the one used as a weapon by Sam in Trick or Treat.
I didn't see that at all.
Well, no, because it's not in there. I thought it was in
there.
there.
Oh, sorry, cutscene. Okay.
Yeah. No, but the thing is, I didn't just tell you from that tidbit that it was in a cutscene. I went back and like fast forwarded and rewound through the entire movie because I was like, fuck, how did I miss this? Like, it has to be, I just whittled it down. I was like, it has to be right when the blizzard hits, or it has to be right when they board up the windows and they're waiting. You know, like I was like, there's only two places it can be because outside of that, in the back part of the movie, it just gets fucking crazy. There's no time for him to give his cousins candy. Yeah. And it wasn't
there. And in
there.
the beginning, he wouldn't have because they weren't getting along.
They're fighting, right? So I was like frustrated and I just Googled it because I couldn't find it on my own. It's a cutscene. So, yeah. Again, I'll share that link in our Facebook group. So if you want to watch it, go there.
That'd be good.
Okay, so now I'm going to give you some other tidbit, like just some other Easter egg type things that don't have to do with trick or treat, but I think are just interesting. So hidden among the various snow globes at the end are the Psycho House and Dougherty's Own.
Shut up.
So this I looked for like twice, but I can't see a goddamn thing inside those other snow globes. So it might be fun to know, but I can't find it. So
yeah, it would have been nice if maybe they highlighted it a little more.
Somebody online might have highlighted it or put an arrow at which one it is, but I couldn't figure it out. So
okay,
yeah,
that's cute though. That's clever.
Fun one, yeah. Mm-hmm. Michael Dougherty, I just feel like.
Ooh, you know what another house should have been? Sorry, like the Amityville Horror House, like a house where there was like crazy supernatural crap that happened would explain it because of like Krampus.
Apparently, the outside house, like the outside shots of the house in the beginning of the movie, like I think when the blizzard's happening and you see all of the houses from like an aerial view, they were modeled after other houses from movies in the 80s. However, I went and looked for that too, and I can't discern any house. You know what I mean? So like, it might be worth going back and looking, but like, I had a really hard time, making out like, oh, that's the Amityville house, or that is whatever. It's hard to see. So, but that was on their mind at least when they created them. So
that's pretty cool. I love when they do that.
Yeah, you can tell that he just has an affinity for the genre, right? Like, and he's paying homage to all of these different things in these different ways with the Psycho House and the houses built in the beginning, and I'll give you some more tidbits later that like tell you why, but it's just he also seems like he's having so much fun. I watched a lot of interviews with him, and he obviously has a lot of enthusiasm for his movies and the genre, and he knows exactly what he wants, and he gets that, which is impressive. I've said this before in a different episode, but so many things can go wrong along the way when you're making a movie or any piece of video. Like, anything can throw off the vibe, the feeling, right? And so it's incredible that he's able to accomplish what he sets out to do in a way that is so, I feel like, unique to him. Anyway, I'm just impressed.
I agree. I really like him too.
Okay, so last little just, what is it? Easter egg. Easter egg. I have a lot of trivia, so I broke it up in sections. Okay. So, last Easter egg tidbit is 2 of the gingerbread men are voiced by Seth Green and Justin Roiland.
Oh, cool.
I thought that was really interesting. Cool. I think the main gingerbread man is Seth Green also. Now we're going to talk about production. So, like, production trivia. This is going back to, we literally just talked about this. So they wanted to use Universal's opening logo from 1982 because this was done in the style and spirit of 80s horror movies, but they were denied. So like, it feels very Gremlins, doesn't it? Like, and you said this earlier, there's definitely like a Gremlins feel, and Gremlins, I can't remember if I put this in the trivia or not, but they actually pulled out, I think it's the WB Shield logo. They pulled it out of like retirement to use for Gremlins. And like Michael Dougherty wanted to do the same with Universal. Like he wanted to pull out an old logo, but they didn't let him.
I would like to see what the old 80s Universal
Me
logo?
too. I don't know off the top of my head what it is.
It'd be the intro, Universal intro. Mm-hmm. Okay. We can find that.
Yeah.
Okay.
We should search it.
Interesting. And they wouldn't let them. They're like, no, you need to use this new. Well, that was something I noted here. Universal intro was super cool. So, I mean, it was a good call.
Yeah, it's super frosty. It's cold.
Yeah. And I just like the music and the sounds and the way they did that. I love actually how those intros are now more incorporated in the movie. DreamWorks, Universal, all of those do. It's just like a part of the movie, and I love it.
Okay, second, we have... This one is fucking crazy. Now we're just getting into, like, actual production. Like, what it took to make this movie.
Okay,
The visible breath in the cold exteriors was done digitally, but a major component of it involved filming real people in freezers reading dialogue for the scenes. Their breath was then isolated and added optically to the shots.
Wow.
What the fuck?
Wow, that they even thought of that. So they had people read lines in freezers. They took their breath smoke, their breath air, and put their breath fog, whatever it's called, and then put it on the actors.
Yep.
That's crazy.
It is crazy, and I mean, again, I've never worked on like a movie, like a feature film length production or anything like that. But I, as a person who is looking out for the amount of time and money spent on set or making a thing, I'd be like, fuck no. Okay, I'd be like, that's too expensive. Let's just get some digital fog and overlay it on their breath. Nobody's gonna fucking notice. That's just me. I don't know.
Have you seen The Invisible Man?
Yes.
Get some fake breath. Put it on.
No, like, people really don't notice, but now that you know that, like, if you go back and watch scenes of this movie, it's fucking impressive because you can tell that
they look cold.
And it responds
Real.
to what they're saying. When they close their lips, the fog stops, right? Like, it's amazing, actually, the lengths they went to.
That's very cool.
I would
to get
be
that
like
realistic freezing fog. So
no.
Let's say when they're outside and they're walking through the blizzard, they're not walking through any type of coldness.
Nope, and that leads me to my next little trivia bit.
Nice.
95% of this movie was shot on a soundstage. The opening credits scene, when people are like fighting over presents, that is the only scene shot on location. And it was filmed in a New Zealand department store. So everything else is built. It's all on a soundstage. So everything outside is just fake snow and wind machines. So they had to add in the breath after the fact.
So they weren't even outside?
No. Isn't that amazing? It looks fucking good for that.
Yeah, it does.
You're like...
Did they have like houses and stuff? And there's nothing. They're just walking and...
Yeah, I think the houses are done digitally. Like the really
and
big...
And the snow and...
Yeah. Well, the really big wide scenes, I think, are done digitally. But, you know, all of the other shots, if you go back and look, because I went and looked up behind-the-scenes footage. I wanted to know, like, what does this look like? But all of the behind-the-scenes footage that I could find of the streets and them outside... It looks pretty much like it does in the movie. You can't see wide enough to see, like, the edges of the set, if that makes sense. Like, it looks like they're just in a street with lights and snow
blowing.
Not,
they're on a set.
Yeah. So on that note, the snow on the ground was made from material that's usually used in diapers.
Oh, really? Oh, my God. So when she's underneath the car in the snow, that's all that diaper material that absorbs the pee?
I guess so.
Oh.
I was like, is that toxic? You probably can't get that in your mouth.
There's so much of it everywhere. I totally know what they're talking about.
I know, me too, but I was also like, why do I know?
Yeah,
how do I know that?
I've had a baby that's diaper burst, and you can see.
That must be what happened to me too. Like, it's not like, I don't have children of my own, but I did change.
Your diaper burst, probably, and you're having post-traumatic stress.
I'm remembering that from babyhood. No.
Yes.
I changed the diapers for my little cousins. And so I think that might be what I'm remembering.
Yeah,
they probably burst and I got...
Yeah, we had I don't want people thinking I just left my kid until her diaper burst, but we got these cheap, no brand. I remember I went through, everything was Pampers. I loved Pampers. And I was like, you know what? I'm sure they're just trying to take our money, and got this no name brand.
Dollar store.
Yeah, and they just tore right open. And
they hold 1/25 the amount of urine.
Yes. Went back to Pampers. Pampers are baller. But so yeah, that's when I saw the crap that was all over the Krampus movie.
I'm glad that I'm not alone, because I was also like, how the fuck do I know what that texture is like? But I do. I know.
Yeah. I still think it's baby trauma.
Baby trauma. Yeah, it's definitely my diaper baby trauma, yeah. Because babies go. They reach down, I'm sure I was horrified. What is this?
Maybe your mom, when she was taking it off, we have to pull it up, and you saw it and you're like, what is that?
The Christmas photos at the end, during the end credits, did you see these?
Mm-hmm.
They were gleaned from various cast and crew members.
I thought so. That's one thing I thought, because my daughter asked me, what are all these pictures? And I'm like, it's probably the cast and crew members. I don't know if I said cast and crew members, but I said, oh no, I did. Yeah, actually. I might have said crew members and cast, but I know for sure.
You know.
Yeah.
You're smart. You got it.
I don't notice anything else that's happening in the movie, but I got that.
Okay. She got it, y'all. She knew.
I know.
Moving on to some just story elements, about Krampus and shit relating to Krampus. So many of Krampus's minions are also Christmas/winter folk figures in European cultures. We've already covered a little bit of this, such as the Yule goat from Scandinavia. Mm-hmm. The creatures with Icelandic names are named after the Icelandic Yule lads, who are said to visit homes each of the 12 nights before Christmas.
Are they scary?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Hopefully not, because this is making Christmas very horrific.
Very dark.
Yes.
I didn't look these up, so I'm not sure. But
Christmas lads, you said? Yule time lads? What did you say?
Icelandic Yule lads.
Okay, I'm going to look it up at another time. I want to know if I should use it in my child's
in
trauma.
Your Krampus story.
Yes.
So one of these Yule lads is Meat Hook.
Oh.
And there's an Icelandic name, but I'm not even going to try to fucking pronounce it, so just so you guys know. Who uses a meat hook, obviously, to lower down chimneys and steal meats smoking on the fire for Christmas. He visits on December 23rd, the same night that Howie is taken.
Oh, and the hook goes down. And that's not as horrific because it's just he's stealing meat.
Meats. I know, yeah. That made me feel better, too. I was like, Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah, his meats, though, was Howie. That was the meat he stole. Because Howie, you got this element of Howie like that boy in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory that eats and eats and eats and eats and gets all plump. Like that little boy that fell in the chocolate. Have you not seen that, Tawny?
Oh, I've seen it, yes.
Oh, God, thank God.
Absolutely.
I'm just kidding. Okay. And then he eats the chocolate and falls in there. That was his character type, even though he didn't really, but that's why he went after that cookie, you know what I mean?
I was just silent because of how horrific of an idea it was that Howie was the meats. It took me a long time to be like, oh my God, ew.
He was the meat.
Nasty. So I feel like you've already talked about this a little bit, just your take on the ending. So you ended up feeling like it was a cynical ending.
Yeah, I thought he he woke up and I was like, oh, that's good. But I did notice that unnatural glow.
Yes.
Of all this, right? It was unnaturally glowy, but it didn't, I just noticed it, but it didn't make me think, oh, he hasn't escaped. I thought he did, but I was curious. So then when he went down, when he opened the bell and everybody looked concerned, I just thought, oh, they all had the same nightmare. So it wasn't just the Max, right?
Max, yeah.
It wasn't just Max's nightmare. It was everybody had that nightmare. So maybe they were all learning the lesson at the same time. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And then it panned out. And my take was that he did not escape. But now that you are questioning that, I have. So that he did not escape, and that this was all the souls that Krampus has collected over the years. That's how I took it. Until now, with you questioning me, then I thought, oh, maybe is this just like Krampus's collection of people that he had turned around, or... But yeah. I felt that these were all of the people that they really didn't get out. They thought they did, and then when they saw the bell, they're like, oh shit, what's going on?
Yes. Yeah, so I'm about to read you like a very long thing, so stick with me, but I got this from IMDb. But I do think it's kind of up to interpretation, and I think, Michael Dougherty wants it to be that way. So this says, the movie's ambiguous ending has spawned 2 fan theories. Number 1, that the Engels and their family are trapped in the snow globe, condemned to repeat Christmas morning for eternity in a twisted version of hell. Or, number 2, they were given a second chance, and the snow globe is Krampus's means of watching over them. Although writer-director Michael Dougherty has refused to confirm which theory is true, the tie-in comic book Shadow of St. Nicholas confirms that the happy ending is the true one. So the comic has murdered characters resurrected without any hint of a twist, showing that Krampus is willing to give people a second chance as long as they prove they've learned their lesson. Unlike his grandmother, Max was brave enough to confront Krampus and prove he'd learned his lesson, which was why Max had his family returned and the grandmothers didn't. Dougherty says the former is a cynical, albeit still possible, interpretation.
I like that. I can see that. So it's more, so maybe it is a blend. So they all did have the same dream. That's why they were all weirded out. And Krampus was just keeping an eye on them. Because he does show throughout the movie that he can be kind. I mean, you know what I'm saying. Like, he didn't kill that little girl when they... Oh, that's one thing. The animated portion, I loved that.
Oh my god, yeah, we haven't even talked about this. It is so fucking good.
Isn't it? It was beautifully blended into the movie. It was beautifully done. I loved that animated portion when the grandma's talking about her experience with Krampus. And then in that, when Krampus, you see the shadow and he's passing and he looks at her and he winks. So he does have a level of mercy or kindness, if you can call it that. And so that ending makes sense.
Yeah, he definitely seems to, even though in the beginning he seems like he doesn't respond because he wipes the tear, right? Which you're like, oh, he's having a soft spot. And then he throws Max into the pit and you're like, fuck. But it does seem like if you've truly learned your lesson, which his grandmother, Omi, seems to not, right? Like, she's kind of, in a way, selfish, which we shouldn't expect, a child. It shows in the animation that she's like a child. So we're assuming that she was young. We're not expecting them as a child to be self-sacrificing for the rest of her family necessarily. But she took a different path, right? So the fact that Max comes and says, take me instead of my family, that shows like a real remorse on his part. So I agree that I prefer the positive ending of the movie, but it could go either way. And I like that. I like that it's a little ambiguous.
I think you've sold me though on the positive ending, because even solely because of the fact that Oma is still alive and living.
Yeah.
So if that wasn't the case, she would be in some snow globe somewhere, reliving Christmas,
True.
right? Or reliving that night. But she is alive and living. She took the bow and she kept going, but her family wasn't with her. Where Max, he said, no, sacrifice me, so he got his whole family back. Where if she would have done that, maybe she would have too. I think that's the ending. Sold to Tawny Rays of Sunshine. I like that. I'm going to have to share it with my family. I'm curious. I actually don't even know. Because I just said, oh, they didn't get away. And no one challenged me or anything. It was late. You know, they weren't probably trying to discuss the movie like we do. But I'm going to bring it up.
You should, and ask them what they thought. I mean, I just think there's room for discussion there at the end. And
my husband
obviously
would like to, I'm sure, because it's the best horror movie ever made, so.
Yes, in his opinion. I mean, obviously Michael Dougherty wants it to stay ambiguous. That's why he won't weigh in one way or the other. But yeah, tell me about what he thought. What's his rating?
Oh, are we rating right now? Are we ready?
If you're ready.
All right.
Let's do it. But I want to know what he thought.
I'm going to tell you. Because we're rating, right? Okay, so Steve, my husband, his rating was a 4.5. He's definitely someone who would not give an A to just anybody.
Yeah.
So he would probably be someone that said he has not experienced a 5 level horror. But he's also someone who doesn't watch horror movies, though.
Yeah.
Because, so, actually he loved Dale and Tucker versus Evil. Tucker and Dale versus Evil. He loved that. I wonder if he thought that was a 5. I should ask. But he gave this one a 4.5.
Didn't he gave something a 5, didn't he?
Yeah, maybe it was either, it wasn't The Little Monsters. That's right. It wasn't Little Monsters because he was also kind of, so then it was Tucker and Dale versus Evil. He gave that a 5.
It must have been, right?
That's right. That was the first one. He gave that a 5.
Okay, yeah. So he's a horror comedy guy, is what we're saying.
Yes.
Yeah.
He is a horror comedy guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm glad that he liked this one.
Yeah, he loved it. He loved it. I'm just trying to, but it's so crazy. The Mist, a 0.5. And even when I mentioned it tonight,
hurts my soul. Hurts my heart.
And I was like, it wasn't that bad. He was like, I hated it. It was the worst. I'm like, honey, but it wasn't. It was. I was like, oh my God.
You tell Steve. I can show him some shit that's worse.
Yeah.
Just, let's just agree.
Well, here's the thing, though. That's literally the movies he saw with me. I think he watched Invisible Man with me. I think we did all watch that together. But that's really it. Hereditary, right?
Well, didn't he leave halfway through or something?
He did not. He didn't like it, but not a low rating dislike. It wasn't like this is horrible, I'm not watching it, like how he felt about The Mist. It was more like just the gore and stuff he didn't want to watch. So it was disturbing. Yeah. My favorite word, disturbing. So when he was like, this is the best horror movie, I'm like, but you can't even say that. You can't even say The Mist is the worst horror movie because we've watched 30 movies now and you've seen 4 maybe? 3 for sure, but maybe 4? You can't even say that. You didn't even watch the original Pet Sematary or Creepshow or he didn't watch even good or movies that I really liked. He hadn't watched any of those things with me, so how can you say that?
We also don't ever watch movies that either one of us deems as a bad movie, right? You and I both have seen movies that we fucking do not like, and we don't choose them because we don't want to watch movies that we don't like. Those movies, I'm sure, have got to rate lower. It's all a spectrum, right? Yeah. You watch some shit, you're like, oh, that's better than this, that's worse than this, you kind of start to formulate an idea. And so
there's no way he would, and he didn't see it, hate The Mist more than the Poughkeepsie tapes.
Absolutely not.
No way. What do you rate this movie?
I think I've decided my rating is a 4. Are you doing
That's
a 4?
My rating is a 4, yes.
Yes,
my rating is a 4. That's why when we first started recording and I looked at Gremlins and I looked at some other and I'm like, okay, yeah, that helped.
Yes.
That's why.
Yeah. Easy. That was an easy one. We did it.
That was an easy 4. Wow, we talked about some good shit this evening.
There was a lot to talk about, yeah.
Some of it, of course, Tawny's probably gonna cut and put in our Patreon. We had a lot of tangents, but they were like meaty, thoughtful tangents, I think. Even the whole fashion tangent was meaty and thoughtful.
Yes.
The sus Willy Wonka, it was just good.
Yes.
In our opinion.
If this is not in this episode and you want to know about that, go to our Patreon.
Go to Patreon. We got it there. We literally were saying this, and I have no idea what she will cut and won't cut. So it's not like a scam. If we're talking about it and you didn't hear it, it's in our Patreon, and Tawny did her magic. And
Yep. And I don't even know what I'm going to cut yet. We'll see.
Yeah. She doesn't even know until she's editing and she does her masterwork, and some of it makes it, and some of it goes over to Patreon.
Yep. Move Madge. That's what my friend Paige and I decided we were going to call it, because movie magic is too many syllables, so we'll just say Move Madge.
Move Madge. I was going to ask if that's another one of those Jungian terms.
Nope.
No, it's just you guys. Okay, cool.
Just Move Madge. Yeah.
I love it. Gosh, this was fun. This was, we talked about a lot of stuff, and I really enjoyed it.
Me too. And next week, so we're done with movies for this year, 2020.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
This is the closing of the movies. Oh.
I know. Oh, I'm so excited. I can't believe it feels like we've been doing this forever, and also a tiny amount of time. Mm-hmm. Just like this entire year has felt like, I'm sure for everybody else too. It's an eternity, and it's also like 2 weeks. And so it's crazy to think that we have 30 episodes. 30. This will be 31.
Yeah.
And our last episode of the year will be 32. But our last episode, we're not going to do a movie. We're just going to do kind of a year in review. We're just going to chat. It's just going to be pretty casual. And we're also going to do a Q&A. So if you want to ask us any type of question, get on our Instagram or our Facebook page or our Facebook group. Any of those. You can post a question and we'll answer your question. And
I'm going to create a little post as well for this Q&A to remind you guys. And we'll post it everywhere we're at. So you can just put it in there. You can email us. Q&A, ask us anything you want to know. One of the things I want to talk about is your number one favorite movie that we watched in the last 31 episodes.
Ooh, okay.
I would like to ask that question. But any question you want to ask us, it's open. It doesn't have to be about horror movies if you want to know anything about us. We are very excited for our birthday month. January is our birthday month. My birthday is January 30th.
And mine is 31st.
Can you believe that?
Isn't that weird?
It's
I know.
So weird. We're like soul sisters super fast, and then we found out our birthdays were like a day apart, so it's super cool. So our birthday month, we are going to be sharing that probably on the next episode, all of our plans. We have some ideas in our head, but we just want to solidify some stuff to see what we're really going to do, but we are excited about that. And we hope you all have a very, very, very happy holidays. Merry Christmas, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah has already passed. Whatever it is that you celebrate, maybe you just even celebrate some time off and some relaxation. Whatever it is, enjoy, enjoy, enjoy.
Yes, and be so safe.
Oh,
do whatever it is do whatever it is that you need to do to take care of yourself. That's for sure what we're into. So we will see you in our next episode before we see you in 2021. And we hope you have such a good night and have no nightmares.